players making choices and having the freedom to do so.
I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
So I think we've both had campaigns where the thinly veiled main quest dressed up as a side quest of the Collectathon, collect the Infinity Stones or whatever.
Right.
How would you do something like this in ways of handling that? Because I think everybody has thought about doing it at one point, but there's really no way for it to feel like a main quest when it's a Collectathon. Or do you think that can even be done in this sort of more fluid, interwoven kind of way?
Rephrase the question slightly. So I think I know what you're saying. But
the idea of making choices and what you were just saying about the Wizard's Tower.
Mm-hmm.
The side quest being interwoven with the main quest insofar as you're helping the wizard, you've made the choice to do that. You didn't have to do that. Now you're given a piece of that thing, right. Or you're given something that helps you later on. When the goal specifically is to collect all of the plot devices, do you think that can be done in a similar way that doesn't feel really forced?
I see.
Or is that sort of it's just gonna feel a little campy and side questy and there's not a whole lot you can do about it? I'm not really looking for a right answer. I'm just kind of wondering what you think about that, because it is something that I have been thinking about while we've talked about this. Having a specific campaign in mind that I was in.
I mean, ultimately, the idea of collect the Infinity Stones to make the ultimate gauntlet. I think that style of premise is going to feel to a certain degree, is going to feel like a bunch of side quests sort of all stitched together by a loose concept, right? That's kind of the point of that style of campaign, though, right? That's kind of the objective. But if you want it to feel like it's not a bunch of random things all if you imagine a cork board, right? And in the middle of the cork board, you have the Infinity Gauntlet, and then spreading out from the Infinity Gauntlet, you have all the stones, and the stones are all connected by a straight line from the gauntlet to the stone, right? And it's just straight line out in a circle around it, right? Or in a pentagon, I guess, in the case of the Infinity Gauntlet, in a pentagon around it, and there's no interconnectedness between any of these stones. They just all shoot out from the middle. That, if you want to do that to a certain degree, that is the style of game you're asking for, if that's the kind of premise you're working with. If you want to connect the sides of the pentagons between the Infinity Stones, right? So you have the lines going inward to the gauntlet itself, and you have lines between all the stones on the outside completing the pentagon shape. If you want to sort of complete that pentagon, I think the best way to do it, I mean, step one is to make it narratively make sense, right? So don't have the stones be in the hands of totally random disconnected people, right? Don't make it the one stone, a Death Knight has it, and the other stone, this wizard in the sky has it, and the other stone is held by a hill giant, right? Don't do that. If you want them to feel more interconnected, okay, the 5 stones are held by the 5 previous generals of the evil guy who had the gauntlet originally, right? Okay, so now we have a story interconnectedness. Each of the generals went off to their own specific areas for X, Y, and Z reason, okay? As you collect a stone from each, and you can do it, assuming the players can do it in whatever order they want, right? As you collect each stone, I would then go, okay, I, as the GM, am going to do some behind the scenes shenanigans where I'm going to go, okay, no matter which stone the players grab first, once they grab that first one, the next story bit that's going to happen to lead into the next step is going to be this, no matter what, right? It's going to be, they get the first stone, this new bad guy shows up. That's going to happen no matter what. And then adjust. So if they get the reality stone first, I'm going to have it be this type of bad guy. If they get the time stone first, it's going to be this type of bad guy, right? Adjust the bad guy who shows up based on which one they want to do first. But you're always going with the same kind of premise of somebody needs to show up to then prompt the next step of things, right? That is how I would make it feel a little more interwoven, is through that narrative sense of it feeling justified, and by having events, having like guaranteed events that change based on the player choices, but are guaranteed at a certain degree because you as the GM need to have, a specific thing happen. Mm-hmm. Does that explanation make sense?
No, yeah, I get it. I think that is a pretty eloquent way of handling that. Honestly, it's something that I didn't really have an answer to, frankly, because again, having done those games, they always feel weird and a little clunky, and at some point, like, I don't know, boring, you know what I mean?
This is the thing.
Like, at some point you want to fight the Death Knight because it's a Death Knight and not because you want his shiny thing.
Right. I mean, here's the thing.
Because he's doing evil shit.
That style of premise is gonna feel a little bit like wonky no matter what. Like, oh, we're just doing a random string of events. It's gonna feel like a random string of events kind of no matter what, right? Like, you can't completely avoid that, but if you wanted to completely avoid that problem, don't do that style of premise. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just do a different premise for the campaign completely.